Interesting. I don't have my headphones today. Hello, everyone. I'm live, and I'm not sure I'm totally prepared. Things just still figuring things out with this new streaming service, and realized I don't have my headphones up here. So now you may be able to hear the people in Zoom. So be warned, Zoom guest, that maybe you'll be heard, and maybe someone in the chat can tell us if you can hear when people say things in Zoom. So say something in Zoom. Can you hear that? The Zoom link is not in the description, so I'm about to, in the background, put it in the description. So feel free to talk amongst yourselves in the chat. Say hello, where you're joining from. It's nice to have you here. Where, oh where. Things sometimes just need more time. All right, here's a link. I'm going to take it from here and I'm going to go put it over here. And I'm going to, where is it? It's not there. Okay. And I didn't get around, it says that the reference link is incoming, but I haven't managed to get it on yet. So you'll be able to see it on the screen and I'll make it available after the live stream. All right, now there is a link hanging in there in the description, should be there. Zoom. So if you'd like to, you're very welcome to pop on over to Zoom. And what we're going to do today, thank you all for being here. And it's great already having some of you in Zoom. And Fred's here, Catherine, Guru, Rudy, Mama Huevo's advisory. I'm here, Astrid, Christina, Zahan, Barbara. Thank you for being my glorious co-host in Zoom, Barbara. This little stick that's just sticking out here, this is normally where my headphones hang, and I put them on, and they're not here. So I was using them somewhere else, and I only realized just before going live that, oh, my headphones aren't here. So this is part 2 of my 19K giveaway live stream party. 2 weeks ago, we did a bunch of 19-minute portraits. And today we're going to do a warm-up sketch. So this is, we'll see how this works out, because I put it out there and I was like, yeah, we'll do this warm-up sketch. And turns out the sketch that we're doing is for a dear friend, Astrid's friend's birthday. So I'd like her to have it for his birthday. But there will be a live chat giveaway as well. So use hashtag I want to win. There are only 12 of you here at the moment, so the chances are quite high that you'll win. Maybe Astrid will win, and then you can just have this warm-up sketch. I'm going to do this, and then this thing I've just been trying to figure out in the background, where I do this, and then you've got this nice photo over here. Here's my workspace. Cristobal wants to win. Let's draw. So this will be a 10-minute warm-up. I practice warm-up sketching or like time sketching every week, which are all welcome to come and join. Every Tuesday, we draw between 30-second and 6-minute portraits. And we'll keep this to a generous 10. And then we're going to settle into the long pose for our next reference. So this is Uli. When was this photo taken, Astrid? It's not a recent photo. And yeah, soon it will be Uli's birthday. Let's draw Uli. I'm using Hanemüller Nostalgie paper, and I'm going to use graphite and a blending stump. And let's go. Let's do it. I'm not sure yet how long the long pose is going to be. We'll just kind of see how it goes. Thank you all for being here on this 9th of September. And if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. And hello to all my friends in Zoom. So I don't have headphones on, so maybe no one in the chat said if they could hear you. So I wonder how the noise cancellation or how my microphone set up, how that will be with Zoom. Because I would love to hear you. I'd love to chat with you all. So feel free to talk. But if you want to hang out in Zoom, just to have that feeling of sitting around a table sketching together and you don't feel like talking, that's totally fine as well. But how is everyone in Zoom?
I'm eating breakfast.
Breakfast. Guten Appetit.
Okay. I am good. I've had a morning session with Beth Spencer already, which was fun.
Oh, cool. That's the Introverts Drawing Club, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
This wasn't an introvert one, but yeah, it was fun. We were concentrating on negative space, and it was hilarious.
Nice. Concentrate on that negativity in space. Excellent practice.
She seems really cool.
Yeah. She came along to I think it was a Friday morning session, I think. Was it? Maybe you'll see this and maybe you will know and be able to tell me, Beth. Christina did win already. That's true. Christina's going to win the next drawing, has already won it. I hope that you'll love it. It's pretty special. These are both pretty special portraits that we'll be working on. And yeah, now just the past couple of weeks, I've been using StreamYard. And if you were here 2 weeks ago, there's this fun feature, which is maybe like the best thing about using it, is that I can use StreamYard during the live stream to choose the giveaway winner. So if you stick around until the end, then you'll find out if you won. And if it's Astrid, you'll get this. If it's someone else, then I'll quickly say, who should I draw? And then it could be you, or we'll just grab something, or I'll grab something off the internet and we'll just do another. This is the warm-up sketch and we'll do a cool-down sketch if that's how things play out. See how we go. And yeah, to participate in the live chat giveaway, you just put in hashtag I want to win. And if I can remember how, I will get this fancy streaming service to pick one of those comments.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. I was so excited last week when Lewis won. Not 2 weeks ago. I wish I could share the fancy screen with you as well, because it's really like get a rush seeing it flick through all the faces and then choosing one. It's like, wow, so exciting. I wasn't even participating in it, but it was just exciting to watch. So Astrid, you could tell us about Uli if you're not busy drawing. I guess you are. You could tell us later in the chat if you like. But Astrid and Uli have their birthday on the same day, which is coming up soon, and have been friends for 40 years. I put in the caption for this live stream. I was like, we'll do a giveaway sketch as well, so tell me who we should draw. And a few people said me, or raised hand. Not many people played along. Not many people maybe got to that part of the caption where it instructed people to do that, because who knows how far people read in these things. But I thought it was a nice idea that Astrid, you said that Uli's birthday is coming up. I was like, oh, that's cool. Let's do a birthday present for Uli.
Like the big fish.
Yeah, the big fish. It's going to be fun to draw. I haven't drawn a fish in a long time, but fish are very fun to draw.
I don't know if I've ever done fish.
Wow. Oh, where's the timer? The timer's supposed to be over here, keeping everyone informed and on their toes, and it just turned off. I had an exchange teacher in high school, Mr. Samfire, who, instead of exchange students, there were exchange teachers. And this year we had 2 Canadian teachers come over. Mr. Samfire was an art teacher, and he was really into drawing fish. And he did some really cool fish. And so it was since my high school days that I knew fish are cool things to draw.
I think my first public drawing was of a salmon in elementary school.
Oh, nice.
The whole student body.
Cool.
The weird thing was that or the funny thing, I guess, I was just little and I was nervous, and I got up to the chalkboard to draw it on the chalkboard. And I told them I was going to draw something, which I now don't remember what it was. But then once I turned around and faced the chalkboard, I decided instead to do the fish. And everybody was like, that's a weird, whatever it was I said I was going to draw. But it was a great salmon. Pretty sure.
The spirit of the salmon came over and wanted to be drawn. Can people on YouTube hear the Zoom chat? Hear about the school salmon? Because that would be different to previous live streams when there's this the voices in my head that I respond to. If people can actually hear what's happening in Zoom as well.
Are you feeding Zoom through Stream?
No, Zoom is not going through StreamYard, but I don't have my headphones on because they were not in their usual spot. I was like, oh, it's already 9 o'clock and my headphones aren't here, and let's just try it like this.
Way to go with the flow.
Yeah. Like a fish.
Salmon go against the flow.
Rebel.
Are you gonna? You can draw the fish as a raccoon.
Yeah.
Oh, less than 2 minutes left. So much to draw. This is. There's a what?
He's on my porch.
Oh, a raccoon. A groundhog. I thought you said there's a grandpa on my porch.
Oh my goodness, you're so round. Yeah, he's right
Cool. Good to know. Thank you for the feedback. Zoom is audible on YouTube. That's yeah. Oh, watch out. For those of you in Zoom, the reference will look better on YouTube. So if you want, if you mute YouTube and have YouTube on and hang out in Zoom for the conversation, then that's probably the best quality of all things.
I'm glad YouTube can't see me weirdly eating.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what faux pas is this.
Minimal faux pas.
Oh, good. I hate eating my food.
Yeah, so tell us on YouTube if you can see Shannon eating. If you can, then I wasn't aware of something going on with this setup. That was our warm-up sketch. 10 minutes. This is such a cool photo. I would love to spend more time with this, but hey, we spent 10 minutes with it. And Astrid, if you would like to win this, then you could enter the hashtag I want to win. And if Astrid doesn't win, then I'll do another cooldown sketch at the end, and the winner will win that, and could I wonder. It doesn't have to be a drawing of you. You could like tell me someone whose face would be easily findable on the internet, and then I could like just quickly search it and add it to the stream. Or it could be you if you want, or maybe you're really easily findable, or I don't know. Or you send me a message on Instagram and we'll see what happens. So what about Zoom? Okay, so maybe you were busy when I said you can. I added the Zoom link to the description. So if you want to join Zoom, Mama Huibu Advisory, then there are a few people here hanging out in Zoom, and you can come on over and join. Oh, thank you, Christina. That was it. That was a warm up. It looks like I did it in 10 minutes, but I've been doing it for years, getting ready to draw that drawing. I do a lot of timed drawing practice. And here we have a fish. And Christina, I'm not sure if I asked if there's anything we can say on your behalf, but yeah, this is Christina's brother-in-law who passed away this year, and we're going to be drawing him on this very happy moment with this giant fish as a tribute, and it's a real honor to be able to draw him together with you and for you, Christina. And thank you so much. If there's anything, I'll just check. No, you didn't put anything in the Instagram chat, but if yeah, you could just let us know whatever, or remain silent and just be here as we draw Clem and the fish together. Let's draw. And this is not a timed sketch, so I don't know how long I'll be working on this. You notice there's a couple of weird things in the reference because I wanted to tighten up the composition. So this is just a mini compositional thing to talk about, but I can show you here. Like you notice there's this like doubling up of the hand, and there's this double hand over here. And I just thought for the sake of the portrait, it would be cool to bring that fish in a bit closer. And the hands look like really amazing. They're going to be fun to draw. So I just put them in closer to the face. And that's why you'll notice this kind of leftover kind of artifacts of how it was before. So if you're observant and you're like, oh, this looks a bit weird, there's like extra hands, that's why. It's just in service of the composition. And looking at the way I've got it here, I may even get in a bit tighter on it, but we'll see. Maybe this is perfect like this. I feel like graphite will be really fun with the fish and the blending stump and stuff. So we're going to get into this, settle in, and enjoy this longer pose after that warm up. Yeah, Fred Garcia, I'm never sure what to call you. Cheech Wizard. It's great having you with us as well. I always appreciate seeing you and seeing your work. So thank you to everyone. You don't know what to call yourself. So will you respond to each one of those things? Okay. All right. Let's draw. Let's do it. I'm starting this drawing with I've got this Blackwing pencil, which is quite hard and not so blurry. And since we have more time, I'm kind of going to start with this drawing. And then once I feel like I've got things in place, then I'll go in with a darker pencil. I have a 6B here, which is, I think, what I used in the last one. Yeah, I used both of them in the last drawing as well. And I like the harder pencil for the initial drawing, and then to get a lot of graphite down to push around with the blending stump, I like using a darker one, or softer, darker. It's a really nice photo. Can hear that chirping. What's chirping, Shannon?
That is a daddy cardinal and a baby cardinal.
Cool.
And the dad is feeding the baby.
Oh, on the screen.
He's feeding her to feed himself. I don't know. He needs to get close.
Cool. I was wondering if that's the sound of a groundhog.
They're all in it together.
I think I'll just go straight to the darker pencil after saying that, because you can hardly see what I'm drawing here. So just go with that. When I'm doing something that I'm going to spend more time on, I still like to kind of have a this loose, direct approach, and I feel like all of the timed portrait sketching that I do is, in the end, it's in service of being able to start loose and strong for something longer, which is interesting because I don't really these days. I kind of don't do a lot of really long pieces, but initially that's kind of like why I started doing so many timed sketches, because I was like, oh, I want to be able to start kind of confidently and strong and not correct so much in the beginning phases, and just practicing a lot of time direct drawing helps so much with that. So there's still opportunity to adjust and change things, but yeah, this is the way I like to kind of get started. And then when there's more time to really like settle into something and really kind of sculpt the drawing, then it's fun just to kind of get this. There's a life to these loose, quick sketches that I really like, and my ongoing kind of mission or a challenge to myself is to be able to keep that kind of looseness in something longer, because I've done long pieces where I feel like they become kind of stiff and lose what I like about those initial marks, and so it's an interesting challenge to try and preserve that, have it live on. Christabel's birthday. Happy birthday. I don't know how long this is going to last. Thank you for asking, Guru. This is going to be longer. This is not a timed drawing. I'm thinking maybe it's going to be about an hour, maybe less. I don't know. We'll see. But just if you want, start loose as if it's only going to be 10 minutes, and then settle into refining your drawing. Because that's something I often notice. I would do these timed sketches, which I felt really had this dynamic quality to them. And then I would have more time, and then I would just get less done in more time. I was like, oh, maybe I need to bring some of that. What is it? Well, there's some quality to it, which is kind of more alive and loose and freshness. Yeah, bring some of that freshness to my longer stuff.
Is this some kind of patented fish grabber that's grabbing this fish?
Looks like, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it's some fancy fish grabber with a nice dongle on it in case it slips out, and then you've still got that ball to hold on to, and you could like play with poi with it if you had two of them. That would be cool. It could float.
And it's bright orange, so you can see it.
Yeah. Someone put some thought into this fish grabber design.
Really, it's patented.
Could look up patented fish grabber and see what it comes up with. Maybe there's a fancier name for it than fish grabber. Do we have any fisher folk drawing along with us today?
I want to see what Google would suggest for that search.
Yeah.
People search for
What if it's really called a fish grabber?
A fish holder on it. Speaking of fish, Icon is a fish. He's amazing. He's like a mer child. He's always really liked water, and we spent the day at the pool today because it was pretty warm. And today, for the first time, he jumped from the 10-meter tower, which is pretty high. And one of his friends was like, "Hey, Dylan, I can just jump from the 10-meter platform." And it's like, and there he was again. And he doesn't like competitive stuff, so like I don't think he'd really be into swimming training. But the way whenever we're with water, he's just really literally in his element. He loves it, and he does a lot underwater. Like he enjoys moving underwater rather than staying on the surface. And it's interesting because we were at the pool today where I remember being with him as he learned to swim. And he used to have this technique before he could stay on the surface. He would when he needed, he would like swim, and then he'd drop down, push himself up from the bottom of the pool. And with that momentum, when he would come back up, he would like catch a breath of air, and he'd kind of like swim underwater and push himself up to breathe. Yeah, it's really interesting. And it's just amazing. Like now he's nearly 10 and he's just gotten so proficient at being in the water. And yeah, like a fish. Yeah. Little fish boy. Sounds nicer than water rat. A little muskrat.
What do you suppose this gesture is that he's making?
Victory.
Looks like a, yeah.
Mama Huevo. I'll send you the link on Instagram and see if that helps. Where maybe you could send me a message so that you pop up to the top of my messages. And I'll send it to you. Because I know you sent me, you commented on something. Ah, here you are. I think. See if that helps. But isn't the I don't see many people using this gesture as an offensive gesture, although I also know it as such, but I can't interpret it as such in this pose. But I don't know. V for victory. Oh yeah, perhaps it's caught in a moment.
I'm glad you told me that was offensive sometimes.
What was that?
I'm glad you told me that gesture is offensive sometimes.
Yeah. I think that's, I don't know if that's a bit like a British thing or a Commonwealth. But it's like peace. Well, we used to say this thing in school when we were being unkind to each other, but it was kind of a joke. We're like, peace, chop a tree down, turn the world around equals war. I don't know. I don't know why that's just come to me, this childhood memory. But, or maybe it's like turn the world around, chop a tree down or something. but it's both of those showing the back of the hand. Maybe it's the back of the hand which is offensive. But I can remember being told not to do it. It is interesting. Arvid has just discovered the power of his middle finger. And he usually like puts this effort into like pointing the whole fist, and then just the middle finger is raised, and it's like, whoa, all of his provocative intent is loaded into that gesture, and it's been a cause of some trouble at school.
Story about I can opening the door at night and
yeah, that was such a good moment, such a clear memory. So what?
His girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever when he gets older. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, I've got some stories for you. But for any of the kids. Yeah, there are definitely stories. And it's funny because now, so Arvid is wielding his middle finger, and that it's really, it has the desired effect with the siblings, because they really get enraged. And so on the one hand, I'm turning to them and saying, it's just a finger. Like, it's not really offensive. You don't have to be offended. And on the other hand, I'm saying, Arvid, stop it. You're like agitating them. You know that they're going to get upset. And it's funny kind of trying to, like, I'm offering these opposing kind of perspectives on what's going on. And they're both hearing both sides. I'm gonna concentrate on this fish, really enjoying the shape of this fish, and thinking about my exchange teacher from high school, Mr. Samphire.
where was he from?
Canada. I don't remember more than that. And the other one was Mr. Giles, who once jogged to my house to look at I made this presentation for school, and I made it on the computer, which was like an exciting thing at the time because it was still in the 90s. And then it was such a big presentation that I'd made that I wasn't able to export it to bring it to school. Or maybe it wouldn't fit on a floppy disk. I can't remember exactly what the technology was at the time. But he actually, I would often see him jogging around town, and then he was like, he knew where I lived, and he was like, oh yeah, just jog over to your house and have a look at your presentation. And that was so cool. Like, none of my Australian teachers ever came to my house to look at my projects. Yeah, he had they were both very different. Mr. Samphire was quite a kind of quiet, painterly, fish-loving type, and Mr. Giles was a jog around town and visit you at home type. But there was some. I wonder. I'm not sure if at that stage of my life I had really been conscious of meeting people from different countries much. That had, yeah. But I guess just because they weren't there very long, and they obviously came from somewhere else, they just seemed so different than our regular teachers. In case anyone's wondering, this is a blending stump, which is just like a compacted cylinder tapered at the end of paper, I guess. and it's just for smudging graphite or maybe for smudging other media, charcoal, pastel, whatever you want to use it with. And it's a really cool way of spreading out some of your medium on the paper. What are people drawing with today? I wonder if you're drawing along. Zoom people can just tell me. Other people can tell me in the chat. Hi, Hesh. Three guesses. Oil paint. Egg tempera. Mechanical pencil. I just realized, Hesh, I'm seeing the comments in StreamYard, and Hesh and Barbara both wrote pink hand waving, or hand pink waving. And so I just realized I'm seeing emojis. It's like, oh, hand pink waving, what? If I there we go. If I head over and look on YouTube, I see, oh, there's a cute pink hand waving.
I don't like this hand.
You don't like the hand? It's a swollen hand. Or it could be a glove.
It's a sticky hand that are made of that sticky rubber stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Slapped onto the chat. Just wait for it to peel off. So this kind of technique, I guess, I recently did a Patreon video about blending stump drawing, and we did a portrait of Tolkien. And I made a few pieces for a show recently about the post-colonial city, and I did 5 portraits all with graphite and blending stump, and it's just been a technique I've been enjoying recently. Did usuario de Zoom, you made it. Welcome. Nice to have you with us.
Can I ask what kind of fish this was?
Yeah, do you know what kind of fish?
Yeah, it's a rockfish.
A what?
A rockfish.
A rockfish.
Yeah, or in more of the eastern part of the United States, they're called stripers.
Striper.
It's basically they're part of the bass family.
All right.
Similar to a bass, it's just that they different coloring. They have stripes instead of the camo type bass that you see, largemouth, smallmouth bass.
Cool.
Maybe not very delicious.
I will tell you, they're good eating.
They are good eating. Yeah.
Never eat them. I've had a sea bass. But never any. Well, you can't really eat the fish over in
In Indiana.
Yeah.
Is it kind of a death person kind of a don't do it?
It's kind of a PCB thing.
Hang on, what's PCB?
It's polychloral biphenyl.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering with this image, like this kind of like this primal thing of being able to catch your own food. It's interesting because I know that in a lot of places, like, there's a problem with overfishing, which is like more of an industrial scale thing rather than private fisher folk, I would imagine. But just having that access to clean water and like the life-giving potential, or the way that water and the creatures that dwell within it, the way things have been and would be nice for them to return to, is such an interesting thing. I don't eat meat, but we occasionally eat fish. And it was in Australia, we were sailing with some people, and they caught fish and cooked it, like, in the immediacy of it, of like catching it and being able to prepare it and feed your friends and family with it. So there's something very very special about it.
Yeah. I kept Udo with my grandfather, and then he would fix it up so that I could. And I carried it so carefully on a plate, like all the way back to the house I lived in, a few feet away. And then my mom would fry it in a pan for me.
Cool. And my grandfather, who's still alive, he recently celebrated his 92nd or 93rd birthday. He had a boat and would go fishing, but he couldn't swim, which was amazing, I thought. That he still had this connection to water and fishing, but had just never learned to swim. And he even grew up on a river. And I think when he was in his 70s, he did this like multiple months long journey in a tiny little boat along the Murray River, which is the longest river in Australia. And he did this whole thing and has this like real connection to water. And it's so interesting to me that he never learned to swim.
Did you ever talk about why he didn't learn to swim?
No, but it'd be an interesting thing to ask. I also know, I know a few adults who haven't had the opportunity to learn to swim. But what I think is particularly interesting is that he spent so much time on water.
Yeah.
Oh, this is nice. So Christina, who we are drawing for today, and tag when you're finished with your sketches. I didn't manage to get it up, but Fowler Christina. So these two names just switched around, at Fowler Christina, who has a private account, I believe, on Instagram. But you could still tag Christina if you're sharing your sketches, and then Donna and Clem's family will be able to see the sketches that we do. So. My sister Donna, aka Cookie, says she's anxious to see how you portray Clem, to know Clem and his bigger than life presence. And now he's on YouTube. It's so fitting. That's nice. It's really an honor to be able to draw him for you. And it was so interesting, the fact that you won this, Christina, because there was, I don't know if you saw as I was announcing it, but I chose, I can't remember how many. It was a lot of winners for my 19K giveaway. And I was using this random number generator. And your number came up twice. So I had the list of everyone who'd entered the giveaway. And there was almost 50 people. And I think 48. And your number was selected twice within these 7. It was like 7 winners. And your number was selected twice. I was like, oh, okay. So, but I didn't give you 2. But then I took all of the winners the 7 winners, and then it did within those 7 another number generation thing, and then your number came up again for the long pose. So I thought that was really really interesting, that it was like you like triply won the giveaway. So that's how we ended up drawing Clem today. So this drawing wanted to be drawn. Mama Huevo, was very cool seeing your setup on Zoom, and the way you've prepared your drawing and your painting space. It's really nice to see. Someone else I'm also not sure who to call. On Instagram, got Snake as a name. Lil Rezium, Mama Huevo. So many great options of what to call you. Yeah, totally meant to be. So all of that, that was particularly interesting. And then that you nominated this picture, this reference of Clem for us to draw. I thought it was really beautiful, fitting tribute. So yeah. So Fred, are you a fisher person? To be knowledgeable on the subject of bass?
I used to hunt.
Okay.
Up in the mountains for deer and turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guys I hung out with as we got older, our knees got worse climbing mountains.
Yeah.
So we decided to try fishing, which you figure you just sit in a boat, but that's not true. Most of the time, standing in the boat,
Yeah.
and it's just as bad on your knees. But yeah, most of my friends ended up buying boats, and so we fish out in the bay, Chesapeake Bay, out here in Maryland. Every once in a while, if I'm lucky, I'll go down to Florida and fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
Wow.
There they have really, awesome. Lots of fishing is just great there.
Yeah.
It's more. So yeah, I guess I just hanging out with the group of friends that I went hunting with. I learned all this. Learned different fish, what's good, what's not good, how to cook it.
Cool.
I love eating fish. I don't think I like fishing cookies, but I like fish. This is making me want fish. This is good. I get these farm salmon fish from Norway.
Yeah. On YouTube, if you watch one thing, or even on Instagram, if you on Reels, you watch one fishing thing.
Yeah.
Like flooded with about every other reel is about fishing. So
Yeah.
some of it's pretty funny, and some of it's just too serious. That's probably one thing I like about it is I'm not serious. If I go out and don't catch anything, no big deal.
Unless you're just surviving. I think I would get into it if I were in the survival situation,
Mm-hmm.
not in a sporting thing. It's not very sporting because they're so dumb. They're like, oh, food, and then
Yeah. There's some amazing videos. I'm not sure if it's not just one kid. There's like a few young people and kids, and they may be from India, but I'm not sure. It was an Indian friend of mine who sent me the first video that I saw, where they put these like bamboo stakes into the riverbed, like at the edge of the water, with a plastic bottle which has the fishing line wound on it, and it just kind of the bottle rattles once the fish has like caught the line, and then they can like wind it in by wrapping it around the bottle. And it's just wonderful seeing this like improvise low tech way of fishing. And some of like in the video, some of the fish they catch are like so it's just amazing how big, like how much life there is below the surface of the water. And I think that's always it's always kind of humbling being like made aware of like how much life there is below the surface of the water, like how much is going on, and that these incredible huge creatures live down there, which occasionally, against their will, get brought up and become food.
It's one of those things like when little baby animals play and they're actually learning how to hunt and eat.
Mm-hmm.
But like sport fishing is like actually like really useful, that you have to like learn skill, and then at one point it can become like the same.
Yeah.
Like amateur radio. Like, oh, this is fun and pointless, but one day it might be really useful.
This is a good question. A few questions from Sian. Yes, that is a good question. Are you drawing from the brilliant reference photo of the same size? It's pretty much 1-to-1. I have the reference on my iPad right next to the paper. This is an A5 Nostalgie paper, which is a Hahnemühle, a German brand of paper, and I love this paper. It's really good, and it's not. I think it's not super expensive, not like Arches or something. But it's I think there's like 50 sheets of paper in here, and I think I paid like €5 for it. So it's really good paper and really good value. And the next question: what is I want to win about? If you would like to win either the warm-up sketch, there's only one person who's allowed to win this one. So if someone else wins and uses the hashtag I want to win, then we'll do a cooldown sketch and you'll win it. That's what that hashtag is about. So remember, people, if you'd like to win, to put that in there. Marianne, thank you for chiming in. I'm glad to hear that this means so much. It's nice to it's always nice to do something meaningful. I was having a really interesting conversation with Kira this afternoon about the like the value of art and how art is kind of perceived and how I perceive art, and it was an interesting conversation.
Where did you end up? That's something I've been doing a lot of thinking about too lately.
Well, it was interesting because it was the kind of origin of the conversation, I guess, is, and it's something I've been thinking about a lot recently, is I find it really difficult to sell my art. And there's it's quite interesting. It was really interesting to talk about, because sometimes I think, what is this worth? It's not something people really need. If we're talking about fish and sustenance and clothing, and what is the name? Is it Maslow's pyramid or hierarchy of needs? Think. So I have this part of me that thinks I've been wanting to like list my work for sale on my website for about over a year, because I have nearly everything I've ever drawn, and I'd be happy to sell it. but there's something in me. I find it difficult to sell, and it's not about the giving it away and passing it on, because I'm totally happy to do that. But to the, like, when it comes down to like a dollar value of art, to be able to, like, I do this and I feel like it's worth this much, and that's what I like to have for it. I find that really difficult thing to do. And that's like one side, but there's this other side where I'm totally aware that I think art and creativity, making art, is something that's totally valuable, and like one of the beautiful things about being alive and being a person, and the way we interact with the world is, we all share this thing somehow. All of us, we're in this process of making things, and I feel like there's this intrinsic, undeniable value to it, which is interesting, that there are these two kind of things in me. One of them, and it could just be like my family history, like certain kind of conditioning. But when I witness people who are just totally confident with it, like talking to Nicolas Uribe, who, like, everything he does in his live streams is like instantly sold. And of course, he's like amazing painter. It was so cool. If you haven't already seen that episode of Drawn Together, check it out, because that was so cool, because he's like an art hero and he's just amazing. But yeah, I listened to some other podcasts. We didn't really get into it in our conversation because I felt like he'd covered it elsewhere. But like he was saying, I need to sell my work, and it's a business, and we need to make money, and it's great that it's working out, but there was no guarantee that it would. And but I feel that some people have this kind of like clear kind of self-assurance and self-awareness, or at least it's presented that way, and that's something I find kind of tricky. And it's funny because it's the thing I would like to do most, and if I could just purely focus on that, like, that would be so cool. But that there's something that I find difficult to do, and so I do other stuff which I also really enjoy. But yeah, it was just interesting reflecting on that idea of what is the value of art and of making art, and things like this, like that for Clem's family. I'm hearing from you, if you're here in the chat, Christina and Clem's family. Yeah, I feel like it's always an honor to draw someone, but this, is especially poignant, knowing that he's passed away this year, and so it really is like a privilege and an honor to be able to work on this and to share it with you. And I feel like there have been certain things that I've listened to and heard over the years, and some of it recently, some of it not so recently. Like the Creative Act by Rick Rubin. It's just like about there's this the intrinsic value of creativity, how important it is, and how many wonderful things kind of are brought into existence through it. And this is such an interesting book. Highly recommend it. And years ago, I heard a talk that Neil Gaiman gave. I think it was like at a graduation ceremony at a college or something. And he was talking about the value of art. And that was like a super inspiring thing. And it was interesting, like the past few years, that I also read some stuff about how, like, during lockdown, people got through thanks to art in a lot of cases, like the shows people watched and the books people read, and I know from my own experience, like the online art making community, it was such a wonderful thing to be a part of and to hold space for in the past few years. And so I clearly see all of this wonderful value in it. Yeah, that's my thoughts. People can chime in on that. I'm really interested to hear what other people think about these things. I feel like it's worth.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is my closing statement for this part of the conversation. I just feel like it's really worth talking about. Yeah. Okay. What were we going to say then?
Yeah, the idea of being a commercial artist, it almost feels like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
You know, I think to most artists, because it's like something you do, the creativity is something you do from your innards. It's such a deep reality for most artists,
Yeah.
their inner personness. And to then say, and that's worth $50, you know, an inch or something like that.
Yeah.
Super weird.
Yeah.
And yet that's the only way you can make a living if you're going to try and do it full time.
Yeah.
I always felt like every true artist should just come with an agent and just handle that part, because you know it's not fair trying to make us do both.
Yeah.
For that. But then you meet professional artists who, like you were saying, you know, can somehow put those both hats on, maybe not at the same time, but can wear both hats.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I always feel kind of uncomfortable with that. Like, even though I kind of also admire it, it's like, wow, but like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Because like you say, it's not a survival need. It's not.
Yeah.
But you know, is it like once you've got all those other survival needs met, art is part of what makes that life worth living.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and Kira said this interesting thing. It's like a lot of people, you know, they work all day and they come home and they consume art. And it's like after, you know, to wind down or whatever it is, that, you know, people, and whether it's like binge watching a series on Netflix, it's like there's so much art and creativity that goes into that, and it's like highly commercialized and like a big money making machine. But whether it's reading a book or making something, like so many people, or listening to music, even if it's just like on the way home, it could be this tiny little transition from like the work life, and then you've got this the ride home, and then there's like family waiting or whatever situation people happen to be in. That's just our situation. And then it's like all these demands and stuff that come up, but just the ride home and just a few songs that really are moving, and it's like something that kind of recharges us throughout things. And if it can be really beautiful to let those things permeate life. Like, I was listening to some music. We went to the pool today, like I said, and I put Stromae on in the car, and the kids they love it, and I love it, and it's like it gives that whole day an outing, like the soundtrack of this incredible music. And they're
I just had a thought. You know, societies, cultures that have lived at survival level throughout time have also always included art of one kind or another.
Yeah.
So maybe we're wrong in thinking that it's not part of our survival necessity.
Yeah. And as I was talking about it with Kira, she was like, you know, this thing of saying it's not like bread or toilet paper or these things that people need. That's also very kind of, she called it enlightenment thinking, and I was thinking catalyst, like to be like, these are the things that can be produced and sold, and you can make money with these things, and you can't make money with these things. But there's some interesting buzzing going on. And to be like, yeah, and maybe that's, you know, there are certain things that this kind of value is placed upon. Aha, there we go. Get rid of that. Remove. Get out of here. Oh, you already did it? Okay, submit, report that. There we go. It had a thing on my menu. We just got crashed in Zoom, by the way. And it had remove, and after it says remove, there's a thing that come up and asks if it should be reported. And I've had it in the past, and then I got like a feedback thing, what happened, and I don't know. I guess it would be in Zoom's interest to try and prevent these kind of things from happening, but or was it? It wasn't Fred, was it? Who transformed into Frank, and then oh, Ashley, he absolutely loved life. Yeah, it's oh, such a nice photo. It's interesting. In the our kids, Kira in Australia taught at a Waldorf school. Some people refer to it as a Steiner school, Waldorf, and there it was really interesting. She was teaching there, and we kind of knew about it, but then being a teacher there, really got to know how it, like the whole rhythm and the whole concept, the anthroposophic training. And that as a part of that school, our kids went to Waldorf kindergarten, and that there is really more art and creativity. It has like a it's more present in the entire kind of schooling, and even like there's a wonderful weaving together of what is it, subjects, faculties. Like if you do math, it's not just math, but there'll also be some hiking and some art involved, and whatever it is that's being done, there's often like a really strong creative aspect to whatever it is. And I remember at my school, it's like in the final year of school, it's like English, maths, physics, and chemistry are the most important things you can do. And with no kind of no emphasis on art and music, and it's like, but if you want to go to university, those are the things you should be doing. And then to know that in different school systems, and perhaps in different cultures, whenever there's just a really different priorities or different emphasis on different things. Oh, Fred had to go, had to get the chickens and ducks in their coops. Thank you so much for joining us in the secret room. Maybe I was talking about it too much. But just as you left, Fred, the party got crashed. But it was really nice having you here, drawing with us, telling us about bass fishing. And aged knees. Whoop. If you're interested in winning a sketch, put hashtag I want to win in the comments. I'm not sure how many entries there are so far, but sometime soon I will choose a winner, and then we'll do, if it's not Astrid that wins, we will do a cooldown sketch after this warm-up sketch. And it will be yours if you win it. How's everyone doing with this non-defined time frame?
Enjoying it.
Yeah?
That's slow. I don't care. I like being slow.
Cool. Oh, it's such a contrast.
She'd like to join us on drum together.
Oh, you already got a reply?
She said she'd like to. She said she'd love to.
Oh, that's nice.
Maybe send her some dates. That'd be really cool.
Cool, yeah. Awesome. So for those who would like to listen in to do some long format drawing and listen in to some what I consider to be wonderful conversations. It feels like that from my end. I'm in them. Yeah, whilst drawing and chatting. Most Thursdays, Shannon and I have a guest on the Drawn Together show, and you can come here and draw along with us and listen to our conversations. And yeah, it's the best.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. It definitely is a journey.
Definitely learn something every single time.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Every single time, sometimes.
Every single time, sometimes. Being for there, actually. Wow, that's crazy. I can't believe I just said that. Wow. Every single time, sometimes.
It's perfect. You definitely learn something every single time, sometimes.
There's a hard guarantee.
I think it was punctuation issue.
Oh, this is the start of the next sentence. Sometimes.
But also, I think I should cut Matt some slack for directly contradicting himself in pretty much the same way.
Ah.
Every single time, sometimes.
Yeah,
Every single time, sometimes.
It can happen.
It sounds like the start of something good. I finished my little fish picture. I'm waiting for it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I would love to see everyone's drawings. If you've drawn a little fish, or you've drawn Clem and Uli that we started with, if you're posting on Instagram, whether it's to stories or your posts or whatever, I would love to be tagged and see it. And you can use the hashtag drawing with Dylan for these ones. Every single time you draw with me, you could use that hashtag. There's another one. Oh, here we go.
Smile in case they're recording it for their.
Thanks, Barbara. Smile for the recording. I wonder if it's because I put it in the chat right at the beginning. I don't want to ban myself and delete my comment, but I was just wondering if I could remove my comment. Because maybe there's something searching for those kind of comments. But
Is that the only way you can delete your comment?
I can, no, here's a different way. So StreamYard, I can't, but now my message is retracted. Thanks for being my support crew, Barbara. That could be it. It could be because I put it in the chat. Because it hasn't happened for a long time. And I've been really kind of less clear about how to get in there recently. And the first time I've been saying it in a long time, and I've had gate crashes.
That's what people do that are withdrawing.
Those people absolutely need actual art in their lives.
Yeah.
To cure them of that antisocial behavior.
Oh, that is. They were getting in here, sharing some art.
Okay, yeah, all right. Sure.
Perhaps that is their art form. So someone said that there's this that some people will do this stuff, crashing Zoom sessions and then showing provocative things in their video feed and filming people's reactions and then using the reactions to make videos about, haha, look how these people reacted. And so maybe that is their art form. But perhaps they could dedicate themselves to doing some drawing of fishes. That's not even a word, is it? Of fish or whatever.
That's why you make sure to laugh and smile.
Yeah.
Either be angry.
Yeah. She's like, oh, look, there's another one. Bye.
That's so cute.
Oh, that's so silly. All right. I could probably spend a whole lot more time on this, but I feel like it could almost be, we could be coming to a close with this piece. And because I got to see about this cooldown image as well. So I will just in the background look up how to choose a winner. I've got to find that out again. There's like a special page. StreamYard giveaway tool. Last time it was like really easy.
I was supposed he felt like he needed to wear camo to go fishing.
Good question. Oh, so far 5 people have used the hashtag I want to win. So the chances are very high that you'll win. If anyone else wants to put that in the chat, now will be the time, and you could win a sketch. And I'll give you another couple minutes. Hoodies Markasten, good evening. Oh, hang on. That was further up. I scrolled back up the chat. Oh, Ashley, thank you. There's a special, I often wonder about this thing of talent. It's an interesting question. And I think in some ways it's, we dedicate or there's the possibility to dedicate the drawing practice to learning how to see things and how things are, how you kind of translate it onto paper, and that's lovely to hear. It's really interesting to make something, and that also part of my conversation with Kira, and something I've been aware of for a long time, that I think that the pursuit of making art and of drawing and sharing so much online, even not sharing online, because I know there are a lot of you out there who maybe don't share so much, but I feel like the process of creation, that there's so much about connection, and it's like giving yourself to that connection, the dedication to spend time with something, and to be able to develop something between yourself and the reference. Like there's this personal experience that happens during the making of something, and that in itself, I feel like, is the most wonderful kind of pursuit and goal. The perhaps the most personal, meaningful thing that can happen is to have this sense of connection while drawing or painting something or making something, whatever it is that you do. And it's interesting then that once a thing is done and made and put into the world, that it becomes its own thing once it's made, and that there is if it's shared, then there is the space and potential for other people to have their own experience and connection with the thing which has been made. And it's a beautiful, magical thing to be able to be part of that in whatever capacity, whether as a viewer or a maker of things, and to be in this community, which is obviously a really everyone who's here now and who draws along with this, and the online art community in general, or the art making community. Like there's so many different levels and so many different kind of ways that you can perceive that aspect of connection between things.
And it's part of our language and the way we communicate. And humans are all about unity and communicating. And
yeah. And as I was talking with Kira about it earlier today, and she was like, maybe the value of art is the connection. It's actually, because that was the thing I said in the beginning. It's like, this is a piece of paper that has some marks made on it, and what is that worth? And then to be that's an interesting insight, that we create this thing which is like this physical artifact which exists here, or it's a video that people will be able to watch and have their own experience of. And the thing that is made is one thing, but the connections which are established, whether for a fleeting moment or an ongoing thing with my friends who come and hang out in Zoom, who I've known perhaps for a week or for years, there are all these different levels and potentials for the connections which we make. So thanks everyone for being here. It's fun hanging out with you and drawing Clem together.
fostering this community.
Yeah. So Rudi's Malkasten also put in, oh, I want to win. That's great. Oh, Hesh wants to win. So the odds have changed. Could be five entries now. 7. I mean, from 5 to 7. I'm excited to see who wins. So whoever wins, I hope you're following me on Instagram, and you can send me a picture on Instagram, and then that you're happy to be shared here, and then I'll bring it up here, and we'll do a sketch to wind down, another 10-minute sketch, and I'll send it to you. Oh, here we go. Fred has also entered. I was talking about Drawn Together earlier and how it's almost every Thursday. It's not going to be happening this week. Thursday is my son's 10th birthday, my fish child. And most Thursdays, Kira's teaching yoga, and I had this mad rush of trying to get my children to bed before the live stream. And he no longer goes to sleep before I start. So I'm usually, just before I come up to the live stream, I'll be reading to him and trying to shepherd him towards unconsciousness. And he's usually still awake by the time I start streaming. And then shortly after, Kira comes home. And I just thought it would be nice to share some more time with him on his birthday. So there will be no Drawn Together this coming Thursday. But we already have a whole bunch of cool guests lined up after in the coming weeks. Happy early birthday for Icon. Yeah, it's 10 years old, a decade of having this little person in our life who is not that little anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty excited. All right, I'm nearly about to say this is done, and then I will check that the giveaway I want to win status. And I hope the person who wins is still here in the chat. Otherwise, I'll have to choose someone else. And if anyone would like to keep learning with me, or if you've enjoyed this and feel like buying me a coffee, there are a couple of links in the description. That there's a buy me a coffee is a one-off thing where you can just buy me a coffee. I like coffee. And there's also Patreon, which is a recurring, like a subscription where I make a tutorial video once a month on various topics, like the blending stump tutorial I recently did. And I really enjoy making those for people, and that is a way to help me keep doing these things, which I love doing and sharing with you. And if you're unable to, that's totally fine. Everyone is equally welcome to be here, apart from the party crashing bots who get indecent in zone. They're not welcome. But everyone else, thank you for being here. You are awesome. All right, I'm going to check this live stream giveaway thing now with my, I went up to 9 entries, so almost double the amount of entries. And I wish you could see what I'm seeing, because I'm going to press this button and I see it flicking through these profile pictures and names and bing, 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 bing. Oh. Rudis Malkasten, winner! Congratulations. Rudis Malkasten. I think you're still in the chat because you were one of the recent ones to put that in there. So either tell me who you want me to draw or send me a picture on Instagram, which I know not everyone's on Instagram, but maybe you are. And I'll keep drawing a bit until that image comes through, and then we'll do our winding down with a drawing for Rudis Malkasten. Congratulations. So here, Rudis Malkasten said, I want to win, and win you have done. How's everyone going with this image that you're making. And if you haven't been drawing or painting along, what have you been doing, or why you've tuned into this? And if you're not watching this live, but you're watching the replay, thank you very much. And also feel free to answer all of my questions in the comments. And also feel free just not to, whatever. But it's nice to have a chat.
Well, I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah, this is such a cool. It's really interesting because we do a lot of pure portraits here on this channel where it's just the face, and there's so much happening in this, and I feel like there's just so much wonderful, so many cool shapes, so much information. That's a really cool image to work from. I really like this negative shape between the hand and the hat and stuff. I had a couple of different versions where I moved around the pieces of the original photo, and there was one where the hand was really close to the hat, where there was also this cool negative shape in between. But then I was like, oh, maybe if I could tighten the composition just by bringing it a bit closer, and I really like how that turned out.
And there's a teeny tiny gap between his wrist and the fish's mouth.
Yeah.
Anybody get that?
Yeah,
I'm just now noticing.
I've got the line in here. Really cool. Yes, Rudi. Yoo-hoo. Yes, really, really. So I'm hanging out with my Instagram open. If you've got if you want to send me something, or just tell me if here, die Rudi. I can write you a message right here while I'm sitting here. Do you have a reference picture for me? HHSSKD, hello, welcome. That's nice that it's the first time to have you here with us. How did you find me? I'm glad that you somehow made your way here. And to each of you, thank you so much for being here. I feel like this has been a pretty chilled drawing session. And maybe that's because I haven't had time limits on it all the time. It's kind of relaxing not to work with a self-imposed time limit. If you were here for that warm-up drawing and you crave a bit more pressure and time constraint, then you're very welcome to come draw with me every Tuesday. I host a Zoom sketch session, which is not streamed. It's not recorded anywhere. Cool. Rudi's profile photo. I'll get that up here soon. Yeah, if you'd like to come draw with us, then please do. Everyone's welcome. And it's really awesome practice. Like I talked about it in the beginning, just about how I like making a strong, decisive start to a longer piece, which this has kind of turned into a longer piece. And I feel like for me, that early phase, it just feels really like if you can get a kind of sense of movement and life to your drawing before you settle in to spend an extra hour on a piece or however long you're working, if you can capture that pretty quickly, or if I can, I feel like I'm off to a good start. So that's something that I practice a lot, and everyone can come draw with us on Tuesdays via the Zoom link in the description. You're welcome to come draw if you're not trying to just get content for your antisocial videos that you're making. But so far, that has never been the case on a Tuesday. And it's always just mixes things up a bit when we have gate crashes. Okay, what's
That's quite exciting.
it's exciting.
It's exhilarating.
Yeah. Oh, what's that? What's that? What's that noise?
Right.
And it's interesting because it's often combined with a strange sound, because I wouldn't even notice because I'm focused here drawing, and then there's like this like, oh, it sounds like someone's alarm is vibrating or something. I was like, oh, maybe something else is vibrating, and I'm like, oh, there we go. Look, some naughty person showing some naughty things in Zoom. I don't even know if it's actually people who does these things. If you're one of those people and you're watching in the chat, you can tell me, say, oh, I do it, and this is why I do it, and it's lots of fun. Everyone should try. A bit of background information on your creative pursuits. Oh, I sent it there. Now I want to send it here, and then we'll bring Rudi up into this live stream experience. Where there's too much in my downloads folder. Where is it? Maybe I need to close it and open it again. I wish there was something in StreamYard that made this kind of on-the-fly thing a bit more streamlined. Because when I was using OBS, I could just drag and drop things. I think, yeah, I could. It was so easy. I'll just grab a file and be like, boom, put it in. And that's not how it works here. But it gives you a little bit more time to work on the drawing that you're working on, or the painting. Yeah, now I do this. And I would love everyone in the chat to say, how are you feeling? How was this portrait drawing experience for you? Thank you to Clem's loved ones who joined the stream. Really nice having you with us. And thank you so much for the opportunity to draw Clem. And as I mentioned, you can tag me and tag Faula Christina on Instagram if you're sharing your work there, and use the hashtag #drawingwithdylan. And then those who want to will have a chance to see what you've been working on. Okay, nearly there, nearly ready to work on this next drawing. If you want to continue working on the picture of Clem with his fish, feel free, of course. Keep working on it. That painting is looking amazing. So cool. For great respect for painters. Just whipping out this direct painting. Very cool. Okay, then Aha, it worked. Here we go. Here is Rudi, our giveaway winner. So you can do your cooldown drawing now, 10 minutes with Rudi, or you can continue working on your image of Clem. Where? Okay, I'll bring the timer back up for this one so we can keep accountable to this self-imposed time limit. So in case you've never worked to a time limit before, I feel like it's a super helpful way to just get something done and have like a consistent practice within like a realizable time frame. Because even if you just spend 10 minutes a day drawing, cumulatively it all adds up, and then you end up with so much experience, seeing so many different faces, so many different images that you create, and it all adds to your creative practice and the experience that you have gathered. And so there are many really cool ways to work within limitations, and regardless of what it is, whether it's a material thing or it's a time thing, having certain constraints placed upon your practice, I think can really lead to interesting results. And I have found time drawing practice just super. It's just, I feel it has been really had a big impact upon my drawing the past few years. I did some live drawing for a while, and I hosted live drawing. But since I started hosting these timed portrait sketching sessions, which has been over 3.5 years now, every Tuesday, it's just been such a wonderful opportunity to practice. And I can definitely see like the development upon within my work in that space of time, and the way I start an image, and the way I something I never expected, that the quick sketches would become almost like the art form in themselves. Because originally I felt like it was in service of doing something longer, but now I even have this coming week I'm going to have 2 events that I'll be drawing at, where I'm just like doing super quick portrait sketches. So that'll be really interesting. So it's as well as being in service of those longer pictures, like the one we did of Clem and the fish. For me, after all that practice, it's become its own thing. And whatever practice we can kind of cultivate and put our effort and energies into, I feel like they all inform each other. So whatever medium it is, whatever genre, within image making, but I think even beyond, like all the different experience that we collect and let inform our process and our work, it all leads to something, to right now. And even if you do a timed portrait sketch, and then you're like, oh, that didn't look like a person, and it didn't really work out, that if it's like 10 minutes, it's like, oh, it's 10 minutes, it's okay. It's okay for things not to work out. And if you're pushing yourself to try and learn new things, or just to loosen up, then I think it's really cool to have these ways to practice.
Definitely a great way to warm up, even if that's not your finished thing.
Yeah. As a warm-up exercise, it's really cool. I can remember this one particular illustration job I was working on a couple of years ago, where I was so stuck. I was just like, oh, what's going on? Like, even I had this idea and I thought it would be cool, and then it's like I wasn't able to make it cool, and like, oh, I'm putting so much time into this, and it's just the whole time it's not feeling right. And I was like, oh, sometimes I just do like a 2-minute sketch on a Tuesday, and it feels much better than the past 5 hours I've spent doing this. I was like, oh, maybe I should do some quick sketches. And I opened the Kanyo chat and grabbed a few faces and just did like a few really quick portraits. And I was like, oh, like it freshened me up so much. And then I kind of, I came back to what I was working on, kind of rejuvenated, and I changed the whole thing. And it ended up being something that was, felt much more alive. So yeah, warm-up sketches are a cool thing. It's even interesting if you're going to work on something for longer. And I know I see people who do these wonderful studies where they draw something before they really get into their finished piece. Like we do a few iterations of the same drawing, and you really get to know what you're drawing if you draw it a few times, or draw it a couple of times. If you do like a quick sketch, and you'll maybe see something in it and be like, oh, something that at first glance perhaps you weren't really aware of, but then as you kind of dive into it, start drawing, you'll start noticing things that you may choose to carry on or choose to avoid in your longer piece.
Barbara, you look cozy.
What was that?
I said, Barbara, you look cozy.
No, I'm tired already again. I don't know. I don't always feel so at home.
It was really interesting. We're kind of nearly finished, but I think that conversation, like what is the value of art? I think it's a really interesting one to have. So thank you for the opportunity to talk about that a bit. And I think it'd be really interesting to kind of, I feel like for drawn together, I'm not sure exactly who the guest would be, but I feel like it's a really, really interesting conversation to be had.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm a working artist, right? Don't we all ask ourselves?
Yeah. You could ask every artist. There's a really cool book. I think it's just called Frederick in German. And it's like illustrated kind of, I think around the same era as The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Like it's made with collage and paper cutouts and really fun textures and stuff. And there are these mice that are going through the year. And this one mice who's often Frederick. Should probably all just go read it really before I don't do it justice with my 1-minute summary. But there's this one mouse who's always like dreaming, staring off into the distance, and all the other mice are busy collecting, like all year round, they're collecting for winter, their supplies to get through the winter. And Frederick is collecting sun rays and colors from the flowers and collecting sounds. And then once it gets into winter and they're all doing all right, and then the mice are like, oh, we wish we had more to eat. Like, oh, Frederick, if only, what about your provisions that you collected? And then when everyone's really hungry in the depths of winter, Frederick's like, and he starts storytelling. And it's like all through the year, he was collecting these impressions, which he then weaves this beautiful poem or story with. And then all of the other mice are just so engaged and enlivened and nourished by his story of summer when they're sitting there in this cold niche during the depths of winter. And it's such a beautiful story. And it's like, that's, you know, it's I think there are a lot of examples out there about, I think we all have this understanding, like probably most of us enjoy art and we enjoy making it and enjoy looking at it in so many different ways. And I think probably a lot of people who don't realize how important it is or how much of it they consume, that they still enjoy it, but perhaps they don't consider the radio or TV shows to be art. But there's a lot of art and creation that goes into it. That yeah, all right, that was 10 minutes. Thank you so much, Woody. And thank you to everyone. I always love hanging out and drawing with you, so thank you so much for being here. And I'd love to see your work, so if you are sharing, if you don't post, I know some people don't share their work anywhere, but if you would like to send it just to me, you could send me a direct message or email or whatever if you feel like sharing. But if you are sharing it on social media, then use the hashtag drawingwithdylan, tag me, and I'd love to see it. If you use that hashtag, then other people who are following the hashtag can see it too. And I look forward to our next drawing session together. It's been great hanging out with you. Thank you, everyone, and especially big thank you to Clem's family for the opportunity to draw Clem and his fish together. Thank you so much. And I guess that's it. Cian, if you would like to practice quicker portraits, come draw with me on Tuesdays. It's so much fun. Maybe I have some here. So here, this is from last Tuesday. This is a little example. These are 30-second portraits that I did, that we start with. And then 1-minute portraits. And 2. And maybe these are 4. And then 6. And this is, or this is 2, then 4, then 6 was the other page. I really like this one of Lisa. And yeah, there's a lot of fun opportunity to draw each other. And I practice in so many different mediums when we do this. So this was a fine liner. Sometimes I'm using pencil. I've used ink and watercolor. And it's a really fun way to work together with people, to be together, because it's live, we can chat, and to have this focused practice together. And it really helps to inform these longer poses, like this one. So that also started with that, all that practice goes into each piece that we make. So yeah, it's a really fun way to practice. So feel free to come and join us. Oh, Claire just joined the Mixaras. I just finished, and my sister in Australia has just woken up and come over to the live stream. I'm glad you like it, Woody. Thank you for playing along. Thank you to everyone who played along with the giveaway. Each time I do one of these multi-portrait streams, I do a giveaway. So be sure to come back and in the live chat participate in these giveaways. And thank you to everyone. This was the second part of the Instagram 19K giveaway. So I have over 19,000 followers now on Instagram, which is amazing. That's so many people. And I've now done a whole bunch of sketches for these giveaways, just to say thank you for supporting my work. And I'm glad that it resonates with so many people, and it's so much fun hanging out and drawing together, making stuff together. And yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. And I'll be sending these out, and I'll be doing more live streams. So yeah, come along. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already. And if you would like, you can head on over to my website. I'll get rid of this headphone stick. And head over to my website and sign up to my mailing list, where I will let you know about upcoming live streams and opportunities to draw together. And as I mentioned earlier, if you would like to buy me a coffee, there's a link in the description below. And there's also a link to my Patreon if you would like to try out my tutorials. And now there's a whole bunch of them covering all sorts of topics where we hang out and draw together. Something like this, like a prolonged piece. And either way, just thank you for being here. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your following. Thank you for chatting and being here and drawing together. And I can't wait to see the sketches that you've done, and would love to have you come back and join some other time. So thank you everyone for being here. You're all awesome. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.